Hi, everybody. My name is Isa, and welcome to Is a Podcast. Welcome to today's episode. I'm very excited to share my thoughts on the recent movie I watched, The Fundamentals of Caring, a film that delved into a life of a young man with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, or DMD. As an early childhood educator, I know how important it is to understand different disability, and we're talking one of that disabilities today. So let's delve in and explore what this movie taught me about DMD and caregiving. First, let's talk about the description of the disability, the development impacts, and the pathway to diagnosis. Duchenne muscular dystrophy is actually a genetic condition that affects mostly boys and leads to muscle weakness that worsen over time. In the movie, Trevor, the young man with DMD, faces many challenges because of his condition. So, Trevor's DMD impacts him in several ways. Allow me to mention 5 short examples. So, first is he has significant mobility limitations and he uses motorized wheelchair for movement. Second is the progressive muscle weakness affects his ability to perform basic tasks like dressing up and using bathroom independently. Third, he uses a CPAP machine at night for respiratory support as his muscles weaken. Fourth is his highly structured routine. It is very essential to manage his condition and reduce his anxiety. And fifth, his life expectancy is shortened. With many individuals with DMD living only into their 20s or early 30s with continuous support and treatment, as mentioned by Mayo Clinic. Trevor mentions in the film that he was diagnosed with DMD at just 3 years old. While the movie doesn't go into the full story of his diagnosis, typically, early signs often appears when a child starts walking, like frequent falls or difficulty getting up from the floor. These signs may be subtle at first, but they can prompt families to seek answers. So, to confirm DMD, doctors conduct a detailed physical exam and genetic testing to check for mutations into the dystrophin genes, the ones responsible for producing a protein that keeps muscles strong. In some cases, a muscle biopsy might also be done to confirm the absence of dystrophin, as described by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. So while Trevor's full diagnosis journey isn't shown, it is likely that his family and him went through these steps to get their answers. Now, let's talk about the individual and the family experiences with the disability. Now, in the movie, Trevor's family is just him and his mom, Elsa. Now, I got a small mention of his father, who left Trevor when he was 3 years old, and he did not contact him ever since. So, I believe this absence suggests that his father may not care about staying involved with him. So, I'd start with Trevor's journey with DMD. I would say this affects more than just physical body of Trevor. It impacts his relationship and emotional development too. I can see that he uses humor, sometimes dark and shocking, as a coping mechanism. Like, for instance, when he first met Ben, he tested him with the blunt questions like, "How would you wipe my ass?" Sorry for the bad word. And then Ben responded confidently that, "When I'm done, there'll be no shit left on your ass." And this response breaks the ice and makes Trevor feel respected and maybe showing the same kind of sense of humor. And it is when Trevor mentioned that he is the one, he is a caregiver. And in terms of Trevor's mother, Elsa, I think she manages Trevor's exceptionalities very well. At the beginning of the movie, she mentioned to Ben that she herself has taken the 6-week caregiving course, which to me shows acceptance and the ability to manage the situation already. Additionally, when she tells Ben Statistically, Trevor has another 7 to 10 years more. And she says it with casual tone. So I'd say that she managed it very well. However, I can see that she is very protective, which limits Trevor's independence. Like, for example, when Trevor and Ben plan a road trip to see the world's deepest pit. So Elsa initially refuses, saying Trevor has never been more than an hour away from home, right? And then thinking that, he will be gone on a road trip for a few days? How, right? But recognizing Ben's support and Trevor's longing to explore, she eventually allows him to go, showing her willingness to trust Ben, the caregiver, and give Trevor a chance to experience more freedom. And throughout the trip, Trevor has experience that might seem minor to others, but, represents a new independence for him. I'd say one memorable scene is when Trevor tries standing up peeing at a gas station for the first time. While this may seem ordinary for most people, it's a huge moment of independence for him. And by the end of the journey, Trevor is more confident, and Elsa has learned to step back and trust him. And their evolving perspective reflects how each adjusts to Trevor's needs over time. Now, let's explore the main types of support Trevor's family access to manage his DMD. First, I would say the medical and the therapeutic support. With Trevor's condition, it requires regular medications. I can even see in the movie a lot of medication lined up inside their cabinet. While the film doesn't detail every aspect, it's clear that he would need frequently checkups, maybe physical therapy, and his CPAP machines for breathing supports at night. His nightly routine of stretches and respiratory support is very important to maintain his strength as much as possible. Another support is his assistive devices. Trevor's motorized wheelchair is another important form of support. It makes him move from one places to another, like going to the park. For Trevor, this device is more than just an equipment. It's a symbol of freedom and empowerment. And lastly, the caregiving support. With Ben's help, we see the impacts how caregivers gives to people like Trevor. Ben's role isn't just about physical help. He supports Trevor emotionally too. By encouraging Trevor to venture beyond the routine that he was used to. Ben shows him there's more he can experience even with his limitation. The emotional support is very important for Trevor, helping him to recognize he's more than just his condition. While I was able to see those supports, I was able to see some barriers as well. And one of the major challenges is the overprotectiveness of Trevor's mother. Trevor's mother loves him dearly, but her fear of him getting hurt prevents her from easily allowing him to take risk. This causes tension, especially when Trevor wanted to go on a road trip. It's a common barrier for families of individuals with disability, not just with Trevor's family, right? As it limits his independence and the opportunity to try new things. But as a mom, I would probably understand why, And another barrier Trevor faces is social isolation. Spending so much time at home has limited his chances to socialize with others, especially with peers of his own age. When he met Dot, a girl on the road, you can tell he feels uncertain and even insecure around her, because when Dot said that nice shoes, he responded with mall, meaning that he got it from the mall, but he cannot say the full sentence. And I think that this isolation became a challenge to many individuals with physical disability, particularly with mobility restriction. I would also like to mention here in the podcast that today families like Trevor have more support options. Allow me to give you three. First is the Muscular Dystrophy Canada. They provide financial aids, equipment grants, and support groups for families to connect and learn from each other. Another is Alberta Aids to Daily Living. They help cover costs for necessary equipment like wheelchair and CPAP machine through the government of Alberta. And lastly, the Easter Cells Alberta. They offer mobility aids, assistive technology, and camp programs like Kids to Camp. This allows children with disability to build their confidence in an accessible environment. Okay, I better wrap this up. We are getting a long episode today. By the end of the road trip, both Trevor and Ben are transformed, I would say. Trevor gains new confidence, and Ben realizes the deep impact of genuine caregiving. And I can see that their friendship evolves beyond just a job for Ben. It becomes a resource of mutual support. Even when Ben steps back, when they were back from the road trip, Ben resigned, but they're still in touch with each other as a friend. So eventually, Ben started writing about their journey together. And I would also want to commend Elsa too for being so trusting. I know that it is not easy for a mom to do, but I can see her grow as well, giving that trust and support Trevor needed. Watching this movie made me think about the importance of independence for individuals with disability and the role of humor, friendship, and family in helping them fulfilling their lives. As a future early childhood educator, I would say that this lesson is invaluable because I'll be working with children who have their unique needs, unique challenges. I want to create an environment that supports and empower children with disability and feel both included and capable, of course. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope these episodes have given you some insights into understanding Duchenne muscular dystrophy through the fundamentals of caring. Remember to check out the resources I have mentioned earlier, or if you know someone who is in similar situation, don't forget to share it with them. Let's help each other out. Take care and see you next time. Bye.